Hello and welcome back to another episode of Combustion RC. Today we're going to be working on bags 7 and 8, which is going to be our rear hubs and our turnbuckles. This is going to be the third video in this series. We have one more after this, which will be the electronics installation, and then after that I'll do another tire gluing video and body prep and paint video. So look forward to doing that, and also I'm excited because this is the first time since 3 weeks ago that I have been able to actually get on a track, and so tonight I'm gonna take that to do some on-road racing, so that's gonna be fun. It is the day after Christmas right now, and it has been chaos, been working 10 to 12 hour shifts, and it has been interesting. Let's get into this, shall we? I will try to make sure that I have the video actually angled at the right spot this time, because I know last week's video was a little bit not centered, and I was kind of working on the edge of the video screen pretty much the entire time. So I apologize for that, and this week I'll try to make sure that you are centered in the frame. All right, now as always, we're going to have our page turned out here that has all of our screw sizes. We're going to be getting into bag 7 first, which is our rear hubs. For that, we're going to need, most likely, our most common 1.5 and 2, and our screw gun with its 2. Let's go ahead and dig in and see what we have. Hope you guys had a good Christmas. By this point, a good New Year's, and that your first week of the new year is going well. If you've got any New Year's resolutions, let's see what you got down in the bottom. My last New Year's resolution was 2 years ago. I had a resolution of being able to hit 1,000 pounds on leg press, and I got to 2 reps at 850 for a new PR, and that ended up being at home. So got pretty close. Not far enough off that I was unhappy with not fulfilling my New Year's resolution, but did pretty good. Again, on your plastic pieces, just make sure that you're shaving off those nubs of plastic that get left over from breaking off from the tree. I'm just going to go ahead and take all of them off here. All right. Try to do a big hammer adjustment so that you're actually in the video this time. Just like usual, we're going to go ahead and sort our hardware here. We do have our little hexes. Machined aluminum parts. Somewhere should be a second one of these stuck in here. Or by chance, did I just throw it away? Alright, I'm back, and it would appear as though I'm actually missing a screw. doesn't happen very often, but it does happen once in a great while. But I should have 2 of these little socket head ultra fine thread screws for these hexes, because they're clamping hexes, and I do not. So I guess to make sure that the wheels don't fall off, we will probably end up actually putting 1 hex on, leaving 1 hex to the side until I can get that screw replaced. Make sure it didn't roll under here, which it did not. Okay. Well, shucks. That stinks. Darn. I thought I had an extra one somewhere and I can't seem to find it. So if I come across it, I will put it in. In fact, I'm gonna go look for it. All right, so I'm back with good news. Found another one of those screws. So we now have 2 of those screws for the wheel hexes. So, all right, let's get into it here. We need our thread lock. Go ahead and roll our sleeves up. We need our plastic hubs, which, as you can see, they have lines on the back of them, lines on that side. They do not say right or left anywhere on them, I don't believe, so let's just double check. They do not. Okay. So, rear hub facing backwards, facing up. So, we need our ball studs. Each one gets a 2mm spacer. So we can go ahead and slide those on. We'll need our ball stud mounts, just those guys. And then we'll need 2 3x12s. And they should all be the same because all 4 are the same in here. Yep. For each side. So just like so. That's kind of how you should have them set up there. And then you'll need, each side will need its own 2mm ball stud washer for offset on the actual caster block here. All right. So we need our rear hub insert, and wants us to do the let's see here, 0mm kit setup. So you find the ones that are 0 and 3. So that's a +1 +2. +1 +2, so we'll set those aside. Those will go back with our kit accessories. There's a 0 and 3 and a 0 and 3. So what we'll first do is we'll start, and once you just set it to 0, so you're going to pick the side that says 0 up, and you're going to make 0 up, just like so, and then slide it in. See the tab there and the arrow that points up. You're going to do that on each side. Then we're going to go ahead and grab our rear hub still. This is going to go through like so. While it's through, go ahead and put a little drop of thread lock on into the threads. Grab your 2mm. Remember what I said last time is we do not use, oh, real quick, you're already going to make sure that this bubble on the side here, see how it's got that bubble there? You want the bubble to face out. So towards the nub side of the arm. But remember what I said on aluminum is always make sure that you start it by hand. Never use a tool or the power tool, because the last thing you want is for your aluminum to get cross-threaded. So once we got that started, we can go ahead and drive it in. The other side will pull through. Actually, I just messed up. I'm already messing up. See, this is why you don't do stuff when you're tired, exhausted from working long hours and working or doing stuff with kids for Christmas and whatnot. You need these little ball stud washers on here first for the offset. There we go. Then we'll slide this one through. They're still thread locking the threads, so I'm not going to re-hit them. And freshen and the little ball stud carrier as well. Hasn't had time to dry or set up yet, so you can go ahead and just put it back on like that. So finished product should look like that. And then our ball stud's going to go on here as well. So then you put your ball stud on your wrench, give it a little drop of thread lock as well, and then right in that hole there. And that is your finished product. And as you can see, got the caster block in there with 0 and up. And do the same thing on both sides, not forgetting the important parts that I did the last time. Go ahead and put that washer on there. Dot of thread lock. I hold it like this just to get it started and lay it over to get the other side on. And that's just a matter of personal preference, just I find it's easier. If you want to try to hold it in place and put that on as well, you can do that. Again, it's just a matter of personal preference, what you personally find to be easier on that part. I just tend to find it's easier when I can actually grip stuff, especially when my hands are dry. It has been dry and really cold lately. Well, really cold to me. Everybody up here is like, just wait till it's 30 below 0 as the normal temperature. I don't want to just wait for that. I would prefer it to not ever get to 30 below 0, but we live in the Arctic tundra, so it happens. We don't really live in the Arctic tundra. If this is your first video, we just happen to live on Lake Superior, which may as well be the Arctic tundra. So, all right, there's our rear hubs finished there. So we'll set those aside. Next, we need to get our black grease out that we had from our gearbox. So I've got that actually back in my box. So I put all the accessories that we didn't need that are for the stand-up transmission and whatnot back in here. Set that back aside. The truck on it for now. The truck will be going on this here very soon. Alright, so we've got our black grease. Now, if you did what I said in the first video and you bought the Sticky Kicks gear diff set, or ball diff set, you'll notice you'll have the clear grease in the little syringe and the black grease in the syringe, which will make this part much easier to do. So otherwise, you're going to be like me and you're going to have to get up and go get paper towel. Alright, so we have our square paper towel. So then, just like last time, we're going to grab our wrench here. And we are going to grab an end, a drive shaft, or axle shaft if you want to use the proper term for this piece right here. They actually call it CVA axle shaft. This is your CVA bone or dog shaft, dog bone, drive shaft, whatever you want to call it. Multiple different names depending on what kit you're building. We're going to need all of these products right here. So that's all 4 of those items. Now this is black grease. Make sure you don't use thread locker on this one. So go ahead and cap your thread locker and put it aside. All right, so going to take our dog bone, gonna not drop it in the grease like I just did, but it's well greased now. You're gonna put it in there. Make sure that it's well greased on both sides. Take your pin, helps if you have some grease on your finger. Put it through the hole in the middle, just like so. If you notice it's sticking out, that's because you don't want to put it in yet. The reason I do that is I just want to work some grease through there, because once it's in here, you can't. So line your hole up straight. Take the flat spot on your drive shaft, dip it in the grease, get a decent little ball on the end of it there of grease like so, and put it in, wiggle it around, probably get a little bit more actually. Make sure that your center pin there is still lined up. Get that ready. You're going to have to kind of hold it steady to where you can see the little hole, the pin all the way through. You're going to drop that pin in. And hopefully hit the mark and make it all the way through. And if you did, it should look like this. So then we need our bearings. Remember I said these bearings here were for the rear axle in the last video. These are your 5x12 and your 10x15. So your 10x15 is going to go over top of this, and that's what holds your pin in place. So slide it on there and then just wiggle your dog bone around, so that way that grease all sets in there. Alright, so that's one done. It tells you to go ahead and put it in there, but I don't want to touch the plastic until I get the grease off my fingers. So again, try not to drop it in like I did last time. Let's give it a little rotate and spin through there. Get some grease on all the sides. Get it wiggled through. Make sure that pin is lined up. Grab your CVA pin. Which, if you notice, the pins are the same, so it doesn't matter which one. But grab your CVA pin. Give it a touch of grease. Again, work it through a couple times just to make sure that pin is greased and doesn't create friction. And pull that pin and have it ready. Dip the end of the dog bone in the grease. Make sure it's well lubricated. And then drop the pin in, drive it through the whole set. Slide your bearing on and give it the wobbles. There you go. And then close your grease up. Wipe off the wrench that we actually didn't need to get dirty, and we did anyway. And then get off as much of the grease as you can. It will stain your fingers. Just be prepared for that, because black grease does stain very, very well. Alright, so then we grab our rear hub. Inside big bearing, outside little bearing. slide that right over top there. And you're going to put your little bearing on the outside, like so. Inside big bearing, outside little bearing, just like so. Wipe your fingers off again. Don't do what I just did, because that's a very good way for the pin to fall out. There we go. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is you want to set that to where that drive shaft, that axle shaft, is sitting kind of horizontal. Because now we're going to put these pins in, like so. If you're thinking like, why isn't there a spacer behind that like the old kits? These hexes actually have the spacer built onto them. So your kit may have that as well, or it may have a spacer that goes on in between there if it's a different brand. If you're just watching this for the purpose of aid with short course or two-wheel drive buggy or whatever build. So once that's snug, just give it a little bit, not a lot, because these are very tiny screws that are very easy to break. That's actually the reason I have an extra one of these in my box, is because I ordered a set of clamping hexes for the SC10 Pro 2. I put one on and I over tightened and snapped the screw the instant I put it in, because I gorilla armed things a little too much. Which is why I'm always telling you, be careful. Don't gorilla arm this, don't over tighten this, don't do that. Because I would rather you be on the cautious side than the under cautious side. So now that that is all complete, now we're going to grab our truck. Going to make sure these are aside here. Let's just set them in here. That's actually what I should have done in the first place. There we go. Now you're going to have one of these on the front and one of these on the back of the hinge pin, because these are going to be centered. So slide that in like so. Just kind of have it chilling. Slide your hinge pin in. Spacer washer in. Then your hub. And this is the tricky one. Now you need to take this other spacer, slide it in between here. Hold it with just a nail, because that's the only thing you can reach in and grab. And then as you get to that point, keep pressure on the back, on the hinge pin, and try to get, there we go. Once you get it lined up, it'll slide right in. Then I'll grab one of these little screws, which is a little tiny 1.5. That's my 2. Put it on the back side of your hinge pin here. That's your hinge pin capture screw, because on the front it's got a it cones out and holds it in that way. And there is one hub in place, and you can just set the dog bone in there like so. All right, and there we go. As you can see, that is all set. So if you can grab it like that. And we're going to do the same thing to this side. So you're going to grab your hinge pin and spacer. Hinge pin slid in. Give it just a touch out. Your spacer. I always slide the dog bone in just to help as a guide. You can do it without sliding the dog bone in, but I like the extra guide. And once you get that in place, slide it through. This hinge pin really needed to be reamed because it is actually quite tight, or this hub. Unfortunately, I don't have any arm reamers anymore. Need to buy some more, but that's almost $100 for the full set of 4. So we're just gonna have to do with what we can do at the moment. Which is why in the front arm video, I believe it was the right front arm was a little bit tight because it really needed to have the hinge pin reamer gone through just to get the burrs off. There we go. So those are in place. Now our front and rear hubs and arms are all assembled. They're all on, so we can set the truck aside for now, because now we're going to move on to turnbuckles, which are fun. So this is a good spot to go ahead and pause the video, take a break, go pee, get you a snack, get you some coffee, caffeinate and hydrate, whatever you need to do, because next is going to be turnbuckles. Alright, so we're back with our turnbuckle set. I went ahead and pulled them all off of our string tree and then cut them down to size, because I figured at this point to cut off the tabs and take things off the string tree. You do have 2 that are offset, the rest are all the same. You have 2 short turnbuckles and 4 that are the same length. Your ball cups, if you look there, there is a teardrop shape on one side and no teardrop shape on the other side. The no teardrop shape is the bottom. If you look, you can actually see the cutout for the bottom. So that is how that's going to work. So if you look over here, go ahead and shut this. On this side, it tells you steering turnbuckle, which is it's actually a typo there. It says stirring. So apparently they're Southern folk. It's a stern turnbuckle. And yes, I have said stirring before, so don't make fun of Southern folks. I'm one of them. Ball cup is meant to be pushed on one way. Larger opening goes towards the ball stud. Just like I said, bottom side, larger opening and the cutout. So orient the notch to the left throughout the car. It indicates which end has the left-hand threads. So what they mean by that is on your turnbuckle, there is a laser etched line right here. That laser etched line indicates that it's a left-hand thread. So what that means is a normal thread is righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. On this one, it's lefty-tighty, righty-loosey. So it's opposite. That way, when you turn it, it moves one side in and one side, they both move in and out at the same time, because you have to have a counterintuitive side. So then you just make sure that all of your links, since mine are all pretty much facing the same direction, except that one. Then face left, face left. All right, so, and they've got little notes on here, so they kind of repeat themselves on that one in particular throughout the entire thing. One thing they do note right here is that if you experience a tight ball end to where it doesn't want to wobble freely, you just grab the sides with needle nose pliers and squeeze. Once it's on the ball stud, that will help. Also, if you have a caliper, it gives you the exact measurement here of 43.3 for your steering, 37.7 for your front camber, and 50.7 for your rear camber turnbuckles. So that is how those are all going to be. And if you notice, the next page is on your shocks. So literally, this is your only page for turnbuckles. So if you're like, well, does that mean I have to go buy a caliper? No, it does not. So they tell you to use black grease. I'm going to tell you not to use black grease because it actually makes it tighter. What you're going to want to do is go ahead and get in your bag, pull open your shock fluid, and put just a dot of silicone shock fluid on the turnbuckle that you're using. So our short turnbuckle, if you look here, we've got 67 millimeter for the rear camber. We have 58 millimeter for the front camber and 67 for the steering turnbuckle. So that means our steering is going to be On this one, 67, so these are our long ones, like so. 67 down at the bottom down here, like so. And then our middle ones are going to be our 58s, which are our shorter ones. And we've got regular ball cups on each one. We don't have any of the offset ball cups on this one. So these can just be set aside and moved aside. This will change the steering geometry if you put this on your steering ones. It's the main reason for those. So we need 4 for the top, 4 for the middle, and 4 for the bottom. And that's our sets right there. So how these work is you're going to take a turnbuckle, take the square part of it, set it in there, and notice it holds it. This side won't hold because it's too small. These are for your ready-to-run cars. So this side, just put it on there and hold it like so. You're going to then hold it like that. This is the best way to keep it from kind of getting trapped in your hand. This is the part of kit building that nobody likes. So yes, this is going to hurt your hands. Yes, you're going to hate this by the time you're done. But it is part of it. So stripe side, remember, is left, and the regular side is right thread. So on this side, we're going to go ahead and do a right thread. I usually grab a hold of it, give it a push, and just kind of work a little bit of that very first bit there, like so, until you get a little thread started in there. Then put just a drop of shock fluid on there, run it across. That'll just help this as it's threading on not to get stuck. So do the first few here, like so, until it starts moving. And then what I do is I take a wrench, I put it through it, just so that if you don't do this, you'll end up having hands that hurt really bad. So you're going to go all the way on, okay? And you're going to back it off. If you've already purchased a turnbuckle wrench set, this is going to be easier for you. And then just tap out any threads, strings that may have come on there. That way, you're back to it being a nice, easy thing again. And yes, I just flung ball ends all over the floor. It's okay, it was only 2 of them. Not too bad. Done worse. So I'll go ahead and pick those up now, actually. All right, so there's one end on. So then we're going to flip it over. Got a little something to hold on to this time. Like I said, these do suck. This time you're going to do the same. Just give it a little wiggle, 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 wiggle. Give it a little thread to get started. And your shock fluid. Get that going on there. And the reason you go all the way on, back it off and back on, is it just makes it thread easier. You'll notice that this gets very, very warm. Like it's really warm on my finger. It's because it's actually making threads in here. These are not threaded. But you should be able to move it pretty easy once you get it off and on again. Alright, so notice by your picture, one of them the holes are facing you, one of them they're facing down. So you're going to go exact opposites, like so. And you want all of our turnbuckles to face left. So it should be this one will be for the right side, so it should be like this. And to make sure that your length is good, you're just going to set it on here and line it up. And that one's a little bit too long, so each side needs to go in one thread. So remember, this side's right-hand thread, so this side we're going to go one full rotation. Oops, that was one too many. And this side, we're going to go one full rotation. I think I did only half on the other side. But that's enough to find out, right? We can adjust from there. Yep, so that one's good. So that's our right front, set and ready to go. And we're going to do the same thing for the left front, but you're going to do the opposite orientation. All right, I'm not going to talk to this part, so I'll throw some music in here for you to listen to while we do this together.
Oh, sometimes I remember a feeling that felt so good. Oh, sometimes I remember a feeling that felt so good.
If you have these, you can do it with these too. I actually think that's harder on the hands, so we're going to go back to this thing. First try. Alright. If you start getting blisters, you're doing it right. That's the unfortunate truth. So yes, though that does hurt. It's never fun, but unfortunately it is part of life. Alright. I don't know why I tried to open that back up. So remember what they said, it's always going to face the left of the vehicle. One thing that I find helpful to do is to grab a 5.5 millimeter wrench to use to just shove down onto ball studs. So the little line, etched line, should face the left of the vehicle. And yes, these push on very hard. You'll feel like you're breaking it, but you're not. Some of them fit harder than others. But as you can see, once they're on, they're very loose. But they don't pop off like the old days. So there's our rears. Which without shocks, they fall. Shouldn't have done that. Alright, I don't know if these have enough expanse to get over that. Might have to go grab my channel locks. Yep, I'm gonna have to go get my channel locks so I don't break those. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Got my channel locks. The reason you don't want to just press on that is you can cause damage that you don't want to cause to the vehicle, especially since you haven't even driven it yet. Get a little wider on these. If you're thinking those look like they're old, you would be absolutely right. These are my grandpa's. Was my grandpa's. Which is why they're a little worn out. Channels tend to be a little bit jumpy. And then same on this. You don't really want to just go pushing on your links for the drive either. So there we go. Don't quite have those set up and ready yet. steering rack. But this right here is the whole reason why your ball studs and ball cups now have a hex head on the top of them. In the old days, you had to pop the ball ends off and then use a normal box wrench or Allen wrench to get the actual ball stud out of your control arms and things. And it did away with that when they went to these very hard to press on ones that don't fall out like they used to. So back in the old days, you'd literally have your ball studs snap and break and fall off and everything else. They don't really do that anymore. They can, but it's very, very rare. Did I do what I think I did? Oh my goodness, I did. I did the thing. I did the thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I put the links on the wrong spot. After all that. After all that. They're in the wrong place. Doing the wrong thing. Alright, so this is how they're supposed to go on. Not what I did the first time. The long one's supposed to go on the steering arm, and the short one is up here for your camber links. But I, for some reason, read that backwards. So the reason I sometimes say that we'll be right back after these messages from Binford is if you've ever seen Tool Time and you know the amount of times that Tim Taylor messes up and does dumb things, I feel like that a lot of times. So that is why I say that and do things like that. But I think that's going to be it for today's video, because my fingers have had it. I'm sure yours have had it. You're like, yeah, I'm going to do the shocks tomorrow. So anyway, so let's go ahead and call it a day. But there is our truck. I hope these videos are being helpful. This is the first time I've actually done tutorial videos. If you actually like this and want to continue to see this, this is something that I'm really looking forward to with this channel. Not just doing reviews and upgrade options and what to do on upgrades, but actually how to build kits. So if you'd like to continue to see more of these, like and subscribe. Please leave comments below if you're enjoying these videos, if they're helpful, if you're learning things, if you're learning that even people who are seasoned and do a lot of different kits and builds still mess up. If that helps you feel better too, leave a comment below. We're all in this together. So I look forward to seeing you next week here on Combustion RC. And as always, keep the rubber side down, the shiny side up, and remember to stay in the groove.